Wanting to make some changes that will have a big and lasting impact on your life in the new year? Consider one or more of these mindset shifts. Hi and welcome back to the cottage. Before I get started today, I do want to mention that I'll be taking next week off for celebrating Christmas with my family. So no video next Tuesday, but I will be back the following week on January 2nd. And since that time between Christmas and New Year's tends to be when a lot of people are doing some extra soul searching and goal setting and generally just trying to decide what is best for themselves and their lives, I thought now would be a perfect time to discuss mindset shifts, and specifically how they relate to minimalism and simple living. If you don't already know my story, my husband and I and our 5 children have been living as minimalists for about 5 years now. And the most important and impactful thing that I've learned along this journey is that mindset is everything. I used to believe that minimalism was all about controlling stuff. Well, it isn't. It's about who you become in the process and the way that your thinking changes along the way. And I'm telling you, the perspectives that you have can change your life. So let's jump right in and begin this list. Mindset shift number 1. Realize that you don't have to be all things to all people. Chances are, if you're feeling overwhelmed or your life seems chaotic, you are probably spreading yourself too thin. And this can show up in our lives as scheduling clutter. You may have good intentions when you offer to bring 3 dozen cupcakes to the school bake sale or volunteer on a board at your church. But if you're not able to really give your full attention and focus to the task, who is it really serving? The framework of minimalism encourages us to make priorities, set limits, and ultimately say no to aspects that don't align with our season of life. For example, if you're raising young children and feel completely exhausted by the end of the day, recognize that you're likely giving all that you're capable of at this moment in time. And there's no shame in that because you're not going above and beyond. It's really quite the opposite. You are giving your all to your kids right now. In seasons down the road, your priorities and focus will change, and you may devote more energy in another direction. Let that be a natural thing that happens, and you will be much further ahead because of it. Mindset shift number 2. Trash the "let's just get through this" thoughts. This one pairs nicely with mindset shift number 1 in that it forces us to focus on each part of life as it comes. Many of us are guilty of looking back on the past with fondness and at the future with excitement, leaving the present time to be kind of the black sheep of our lives. Sometimes all we can see or think about are the troubles and trials that we face in our current season. The stressful job, the rising cost of groceries, the sleepless nights with a newborn. So we resort to thinking that we just need to grin and bear it and just get through. The danger of thinking this particular way is that it clouds the beautiful moments that are surely present right here and now, even in this difficult season. So again, I encourage you to shove past those thoughts of just getting through a moment in time and really slow down. And even if you need to do a little bit of digging, look for those glimmers of light, those little bits of joy, because I assure you they are there. Mindset shift number 3. Stop disqualifying yourself. Envy steps in when we see what someone else has or can do, and we don't believe we can ever achieve the same. Almost like a little internal pity party. Vacations, new cars, fancy meals. Maybe they have seemed out of reach in the past, and you've had the thoughts of, "They are so lucky. I wish I could do that," or, "Oh, wouldn't that be nice?" Those thoughts, even if they are subconscious, put a wall up in your mind, essentially disqualifying you from ever being able to get to the other side. So when those thoughts start to creep in, I encourage you to have a mindset shift that will allow you instead to focus on some goals, some things that you could do right now to help you achieve that goal, to achieve that thing that you admire on the other side of that wall, and make that a reality in your life. Let's say you've always wanted to travel to a foreign country, but have thought that you never could because of financial restrictions. Well, before you disqualify yourself, determine how important this would be to you. And if you truly still have the desire after thinking it through, find a way to make it happen. Develop a savings plan. Take on an extra part-time job temporarily to earn more money. It may take a lot of hard work, dedication, and focused attention, but will likely be achievable to you as well if you don't dismiss the idea right away. Mindset shift number 4. Embrace the joy of missing out. Have you ever been invited to go out with a group of friends or go to some sort of activity, and even though you had plans to spend your time in a different way, you go along with it because you are afraid that there might be memories that you miss out on, there might be some fun things that you miss doing? Well, this fear of missing out is called FOMO, and it can cause us to do things that we otherwise wouldn't, maybe even make some unwise choices. For this mindset shift, I encourage you to look at the alternate of FOMO, and that is JOMO, or the joy of missing out. Humans tend to focus on what we don't have rather than what we do. And because of this, when confronted with various options, we typically will weigh them based on comparison. FOMO causes us to live a life that we think we should have based on comparison with others instead of the life that we crave to have. It can keep us from connecting and also from following our personal path in life. We are essentially stunted by fear and wondering what others are doing. JOMO, on the other hand, is the feeling that you get when you're content with where you are and confident in the decisions that you've made. And even if you've never heard of this acronym before today, you've likely experienced it. It's that feeling that you get of a weight being lifted off of your shoulders when something you had been dreading suddenly gets canceled and you're given that time back. And you have that sense of joy and appreciation for being able to spend that time in the way that you wanted to all along. So I encourage you to learn the difference between these two and find a way to have the joy of missing out replace the fear. Mindset shift number 5. Understand the danger of the invisible audience. We've all had it, the belief that people are watching and probably judging everything that we do. Why else would we worry about what our hair looks like, what clothes we wear, or what car we drive? Brought down to basics, this really is an immature feeling of insecurity because when this happens, we are catering to an invisible audience. And it's an invisible audience because, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, it doesn't actually exist. I want to help change your mindset in this regard and assure you that people tend to care far more about their own look than they do about yours. Courtney Carver, the creator of Project 333, drove this point home when she did her first experiment. She decided to take 33 items of clothing and wear them on rotation for a full 3 months to see if anyone would notice. Spoiler alert, they didn't. When analyzing your belongings, whether that's clothing, books, or kitchen tools, use this mindset to help you make decisions not based on what other people may think of the things you choose to surround yourself with, but what you prefer. Mindset shift number 6. Use the 20-second rule. One of the things I appreciate the most about living a minimalist life is the amount of reflection and refinement that has taken place. It truly is a process of determining what is valuable in your life, not just your possessions, but what you choose to spend your time and money on and who you choose to spend it with. And then elevating those things in importance by making them easier to get to. As we move into the new year, many of us are going to be doing some re-evaluating. We may notice that there are some bad habits that we picked up that we want to eliminate, or have some goals that we want to set for ourselves. And at the beginning of the year, when we're feeling really motivated, this may be easy to do. We may have no problem, for example, getting out and exercising every day. But when we're feeling stressed, tired, or even just a little bit lazy, doing so may feel overwhelming. Well, what then? Do we just give up, give in? No, that is when the 20-second rule can step in to help you out. This idea was discussed by Shawn Achor in his book, The Happiness Advantage. And I've done an entire full-length video on this topic. If you're interested, you can check it out. I'll have that video linked down in the description box. Essentially, though, the idea is that we can make our good habits stick by making them 20 seconds easier to do. and making the alternative 20 seconds more difficult. So in the case of getting our daily exercise, that might mean setting out gym clothes and a water bottle the night before and placing your alarm clock on the other side of the room, making it less likely to press the snooze button. When it comes to productivity and wanting to eliminate the bad habit of scrolling through social media, you might consider physically deleting the apps that are the most tempting, while at the same time keeping a short list of things you can do alternately when you have those spare moments and would normally start the scroll. Read a book, write a letter, do a quick tidy up. Though very simple, this particular mindset shift has been extremely powerful in my life, and I encourage you to try it out as well. Mindset shift number 7. Focus on the feeling of abundance. People will say that minimalism is all about deprivation and learning to live with as few items as possible. This is simply not the case. What I've learned is that it is far more about a deeper understanding and appreciation for the things that you do have. When we start out the process of decluttering as part of a minimalist journey, we can be faced with feelings of insecurity, worry about getting rid of something we might regret, or holding on to something just in case we may need it in the future. This is a scarcity mindset. And as you go along in the process, you will naturally shift to a mindset of abundance, a realization really that our needs are very few, and a trust that we will have enough. An example that I like to give is the tendency of many people to fill up their pantries to the max with food, food that they couldn't eat in a year, or to stock up their utility shelves with toiletries and paper products, just so much there. Now, there isn't anything inherently bad about this, but it is an example of having a scarcity mindset because there's that worry in the back of your head that you're going to run out, so that you just keep buying more and more and making sure it's always full. Now, someone who has the mindset of abundance would instead buy enough or gather enough for a set period of time, whether that's a couple of weeks or a month or even a couple of months, with the understanding that when that time runs out and those supplies are low, that they can restock them by purchasing more or getting some more from another source, whether that's growing your own vegetables or something like that. As it relates to minimalism and simple living, it's important to notice the difference between these two mindsets, because this will trickle down into other decisions that you make throughout your journey. So how many towels do I want to keep? How many pairs of shoes? Or even something like how many cars do I want to keep in my garage? And so it's important to recognize the difference and to decide for yourself what is enough. As a quick recap, here are the 7 radical mindset shifts that I mentioned today. Number 1, realize that you don't have to be all things to all people. Number 2, trash the "let's just get through this" thoughts. Number 3, stop disqualifying yourself. Number 4, embrace the joy of missing out. Number 5, understand the danger of the invisible audience. Number 6, use the 20-second rule. And number 7, focus on the feeling of abundance. Whatever your thoughts or plans are for the new year, I hope that you can do something for you, because changing your mindset may be the most important and impactful gift that you can give yourself. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.